good to have you back with us at Somaliland National Television. I'm Mohammed Aden here with the English news. Let's take a look at the main stories making headlines. Chief of the Custodial Corps receives a donation of office equipment from the Ministry of Justice. Director General of the Ministry of Interior officially confirms that civic registration was launched in Gabile. Governor of Haisimo region discussed talks held with regional cultural leaders and residents regarding the security of the region as well as ongoing development efforts. The Chief of the Custodial Corps, Mohammed Hussein Farah Hirane, received a donation of various office equipment from the Ministry of Justice in an event held in Hargeisa, the capital of Somaliland. The Director General of the Ministry of Justice, speaking at the event, stressed the need of this equipment for serving the citizens and boosting works by the Custodial Corps. Minister of Justice Hussein Ahmed Aidid, speaking at the event, stated that the Custodial Corps were in need of such equipment to increase the ongoing efforts to boost security at its headquarters and serving the prisons across the country. Chief of the Custodial Corps spoke at the event and highlighted the ongoing efforts aimed to increase security in the prisons across Somaliland and to serve better all the inmates. Minister of Information, Culture and National Guidance unveiled a new FM radio in Togdheer's capital city, Bur'o. The new radio will be operating as part of Radio Hargeisa, from which people in the city will be tuning into news and programs of the radio.
Minister of Information, Culture and National Guidance stated in a speech that the plan of establishing this radio in Togdheer was in the pipeline for the ministry since the beginning of this year. The minister also pointed out that this newly established FM radio is going to provide the people of that region with the latest news in Somaliland as well as the general progress ongoing in the country. He continued to pledge that more FM radios will be established in the rural areas of all regions to enable all residents of Somaliland to be updated with the news in the country regarding the recent developments made by the government. Cultural leaders of Bur'o city spoke at the event and expressed their thankfulness to the continuous efforts of the government of Somaliland to provide the necessary assistance for the people of Somaliland to develop their nation. In conclusion, Governor of Togdheer region and Mayor of Bur'o city collectively expressed their appreciation to the establishment of this new FM radio in the region and the government's endless efforts to progress the radio services.
The Director General of the Ministry of the Interior, Abdi Samad Umar Mal, speaking to reporters in Hargeisa, told the public that civic registration was officially launched in Gabile and urged residents to take the citizenship identities. The Director General stated that civic registration was launched in Gabile soon after equipment reached the city. The Director General urged residents of Gabile to register themselves in the ongoing civic registration and take the citizenship identities. He said Gabile is one of the districts for which the government aims to embark on civil registration in the second phase of the efforts to register citizens residing in Somaliland. The director also stressed the importance of civic registration and the underlying necessity of registering citizens in the ongoing civic registration. Ministry of the Interior purchased new vehicles to step up the ongoing civic registration efforts across the regions of Somaliland. Governor of Haisimo region discussed talks held with regional cultural leaders and residents regarding the security of the region as well as ongoing development efforts.
The governor met with the different demographics of that region, including youth, women, and governmental officials, to urge them to collaborate with the government in strengthening the security of the region. He stated that Taleh district needs to further strengthen its security at the borders and to develop the different aspects of life for the residents of that district, knowing that this has been the most conflicted district in that region. He stated that they succeeded in ending that conflict and are now working on establishing a peaceful foundation for a peaceful life in the district. The Governor Abdirashid Mohammed Heer stressed that it's essential to improve all crucial sectors of this region, including education, health, and water, to improve the living conditions of the residents. Pledging to amplify efforts in bettering the region, the governor urged the traditional leaders, religious scholars, and residents of the region to collaborate with the government in maintaining the stability and to form more progress.
Ministry of Health has recently embarked on a vaccination campaign in the remote areas across the regions of Somaliland, as the Director of General Health for the Ministry of Health informed SLN TV. The Director of General Health for the Ministry of Health stated that the ministry staff have embarked on a polio eradication campaign in several areas nationwide. Recently, Ministry of Health conducted several campaigns to provide people residing across the country with polio vaccines, but this time efforts to stamp out the presence of the virus are ongoing in the remote areas across the regions. The director also stated that the recurrent efforts to eliminate the virus through vaccination programs intend to ensure Somaliland is free of polio and that citizens do not contract the virus. Somaliland has been polio-free for several years. It was last year when an infected person travelled with the virus to Somaliland. Since then, Ministry of Health took steps to eliminate the presence of virus through providing vaccines to citizens residing throughout Somaliland. Representatives of women organisation now in Boram, the capital of Oda region, conveyed a stern message to women politicians to avoid statements conveyed through media.
They collectively stressed on the significance of using media to spread good deeds instead of using it to spread false claims about certain individuals. Safia Hufane, chairperson of NOW in Oda region, pointed out that among the main objectives of this organization is to urge women to come together and maintain peace and stability within the citizens of Somaliland. She stated that they primarily focus on collaborating with the government of Somaliland in spreading peace and progress within the country. On the other hand, Safia Abdi Noor, Kulmiye representative in Borama, spoke about the outstanding development made by the government of Somaliland in the recent years and said that as citizens we need to support the dedicated efforts of our government and help it obtain its objectives and goals designed to take Somaliland to another level full of developments and finally obtain the international recognition.
You're still watching the English news on Somaliland National Television, the only Somali-speaking channel within English news, and now for the main international headlines in detail. Russian separatists are holding elections in eastern Ukraine. The regions of Donetsk and Luhansk are voting on severing ties with Ukraine. Russia has said it recognized the result, but the contest has been denounced as illegitimate by Kiev, the European Union and the United States. Nonetheless, Alexander Zarkino, leader of the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic, said nothing had been decided. We will negotiate after the election and assess Kiev's position. In Donetsk, eastern Ukraine's industrial capital and the separatist political and military stronghold, people lined up at polling stations. Soviet-style music blared out of speakers in a central voting station, where people sold bags of carrots, potatoes and cabbage for pennies. The vote will almost certainly strain ties between the West and Russia, but many in Donetsk believe the outcome will change their fortunes for the better. I'm Russian. I came here in 1966, myself Russian, and I wish us to be with Russia, said one elderly woman. With no incomes, my son doesn't work, he has a family of 5, it's terrible with no pension. That's Kiev's failure, another voter said. Although many people have been forced out of work through closures as violence followed the ousting of Moscow-backed Viktor Yanukovych, enthusiasm for the rebel cause remains high. Many others have fled the area because of the war, and some doubts are being raised about the validity of these elections, with no official voting lists that includes internet ballots and mobile polling stations. A judge in Maine has ruled that a nurse who treated Ebola victims in West Africa doesn't need to be confined to her home. Cassie Hickox must, however, continue to have her health directly monitored and coordinate travel plans with local officials and report any symptoms.
But she says she is pleased with the outcome. I'm very satisfied with the decision. The 3 points he recommended I abide by are the 3 points that I believe are part of this good compromise we make and comply with the CDC recommendations. Although the judge declared Ebola fears in the US are not entirely rational, the governor of Maine said more stringent measures are needed. She's been very clear, and this is one of the disappointments. She's violated every promise she's made so far, so I can't trust her. I don't trust her, and I don't trust that we know enough about this disease to be callous, Paul Lepage told reporters. With other U.S. states imposing their own quarantines, it seems Nurse Hickens' challenge of Maine's 21-day isolation regime will remain a key battle in the fight between local authorities and the federal government.
That's all we have for you today. Thank you for watching. You can catch us at the same time tomorrow. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.